Chapter 1, Lone Wolf. There are two kinds of people who play ARKFALL competitively: people who have friends and people who win. I'm the second kind. I'd love to tell you the Lone Wolf thing with some tragic backstory. Orphaned by a tragic guild wipe, betrayed by a tragic raid leader, all very tragic. Cue the violins, cue the slow zoom on a rain-streaked window. The truth is dumber. Teams slow you down. Teams need healing and reviving and emotional check-ins, and somebody's girlfriend always pings the squad in the middle of a final circle to ask if pasta sounds good for dinner. Teams have a guy named Greg. There is always a Greg. Greg is the reason your stack lost in the semis. Greg is why we can't have nice things. I had a 71% solo win rate and zero tolerance for anyone telling me to ping before I push. My handle was Vex, and across every leaderboard that mattered, global, regional, hardcore only, no respawn, the unofficial deathmatch ladders the devs pretended didn't exist, that one syllable did a lot of heavy lifting. 3 letters. Cleaner than my apartment. More reliable than my sleep schedule. Vex was a verb people used when I rolled them, and a noun I'd built out of every match I'd ever clutched 1v4 with a busted gun and a worse attitude. So when the developers announced the last drop, the final tournament before they sunset the servers forever, 1,000 players, one surface, last team standing takes a prize so obscene I could quit my job, my apartment, my landlord's existence, and my entire personality at the same time and still have enough left over to insult my way through Europe. I had exactly one problem. Team. You couldn't drop solo. Squad minimum. 2. The game, in its infinite corporate wisdom, had decided that the most dramatic possible send-off for the most ruthless arena it had ever shipped was a tournament that required teamwork. The devs had a vision. The vision was group photos. The vision could choke. The game wanted me to find a partner, and I would sooner find a kidney. Honestly, the kidney would be easier. Kidneys don't ask if I'm tilted when I'm in the zone. Kidneys don't have feelings about my callouts. A kidney would shut up and pump and respect the kill order. The buzzer at my door went off like a heart attack with a deadline. You could ask literally anyone, said the delivery guy, setting a coffin-sized crate down in my living room with the tender care of someone who had stopped pretending to care 2 stops ago. He was breathing hard. The crate had hazard stickers in 3 languages, and one symbol I was pretty sure was just a skull wearing a graduation cap. You've got, what, 10,000 followers? 12, I said automatically, the way other people correct strangers about their kids' ages. My bad, 12,000. 12.4, but who's counting? You are, out loud, to a stranger. Followers aren't friends, I said. Followers are an audience. Audiences want you to perform. Partners want you to carry them. There is a load-bearing difference, my guy, and it is the difference between a paycheck and a divorce. He looked around my apartment in the way people do when they're trying to be polite about a crime scene. 2 monitors, 1 chair, a floor lamp on its last warning, a pizza box doing structural work as a coffee table. The single houseplant I'd ever owned, which had achieved something more dignified than death. It had simply chosen, at some point in the last 6 months, to dehydrate itself into a small brown fist of protest. Sounds lonely, my dude. Sounds efficient, my dude. I signed his tablet without reading it, which is a thing I do, which will become extremely relevant in about 3 pages, and which my mother had warned me about exactly once at a DMV and exactly never since. Is this it? This is it, he tapped the crate with his boot. Sign on the line, don't sue us, don't sue them, don't sue God. God's on the list. Page 4, right under altered states of consciousness. Cool. He paused at the door, hand on the frame, doing the thing delivery guys do when they want a tip but won't ask for one. I tipped him because I'm not a monster, I'm just antisocial. There's a difference, and the difference is roughly $6. Hey, he said, half out the door. Whatever's in there, you're hooking it to your brain, right? Among other things. Don't get cocky. Too late. The door clicked shut behind him. And for a moment, the apartment was just me and the crate, and the distant traffic, and the soft, suspicious hum of something inside the box that was already drawing power. It was it, the Neurodive Halo 9, experimental, not technically legal yet. Definitely not technically cleared for tournament play, which is exactly why I'd paid a frankly criminal amount to get one early, the kind of money that makes a wire transfer feel like a confession. The old immersion rigs gave you sight, sound, a vague sense of pressure, and a headache shaped like a credit card statement. The Halo 9 promised full biosync, not the marketing version, the real one. The one the white papers had been quietly thirsting about for 2 years before anyone with a logo touched it. The game wouldn't just talk to your brain, it would talk to your whole nervous system. Run faster in-game, your real heart rate climbs. Get hit, your body flinches like it means it. Take a hit of cold rain on the surface of Erebus, your skin actually goosebumps in your living room because your central nervous system, the trusting little idiot, has decided to believe. Total feedback, I read off the box, in the announcer voice I used when I was alone and too caffeinated, for total immersion. The fine print, which I also did not read, said something about that running both directions. I cracked the crate. The lid lifted on hydraulics so smooth they made a little sigh, like the box itself was relieved to be out of the truck. Inside, nested in foam shaped to its body, the pod looked less like a piece of consumer electronics and more like something an alien obstetrician would deliver you back into. Curved shell. Matte black. Gel-lined cradle the color of wet pearl. A halo of sensor arms folded against the headrest in a way that was, in a word I refused to use out loud, sensual. The thing was beautiful. The thing was clearly going to kill someone someday. I was not, statistically, hoping it would be me. I set it up alone, because of course I did. Cleared the floor. Kicked the pizza box under the couch, where it joined 3 of its ancestors. Plugged the pod into the dedicated 240 line I'd had an electrician run last week. The electrician had asked what I was powering, and I'd told him an EV, which was true if you stretched the definition of vehicle and lied about everything else. The pod unfolded like something that wanted to eat me, all gel-lined cradle and articulating sensor pedals, every joint moving with the obscene quietness of expensive engineering. I sat down into the gel, and it accepted me. There's no other word, molding to my back, my legs, the tense knot at the base of my neck I'd been building since middle school. The halo of sensors closed over my skull with a soft, expensive click, 12 cool contacts settling against my scalp like fingertips that knew where they were going. My living room smelled like new electronics and the gas station burrito I'd had for breakfast at 2 p.m., and underneath both, faintly, like ozone, like a thunderstorm a city away. My phone buzzed on the couch. A DM, from the one person I'd have paid money to never hear from again. Killjoy, heard you finally got a real. Killjoy, shame about needing a teammate, huh? Killjoy, guess even the great Vex can't carry himself this time. Killjoy, what are you gonna do? Queue with your chat. Killjoy, $10 says you drop solo and get auto D/queued in the lobby. Killjoy, front row seat, popcorn in hand, love this for me. Brett Voss, Killjoy, rich kid who treated ARKFALL like a sport he could buy his way to the top of, which to be fair, he largely had. The kind of guy who'd brag about grinding 12-hour days on a rig that cost more than most people's cars and then take a lunch break on a yacht. The thing about Brett was that he was genuinely good, top 200, real mechanics, a sniper's patience, and a rat's instincts, and it killed him that I was better for free. I'd never paid for a coach. I'd never paid for a custom server. I'd never paid for anything but my electricity bill and the occasional energy drink, and somehow I kept sitting on his head in every bracket that mattered. We'd met in 8 tournament brackets. He'd lost 8. He'd taken every single one personally, the way only a man who's never been told no can take a thing like an injustice, like a glitch, like something the universe owed him an apology for. I thumbed back without sitting up. Vex, Brett, buddy, pal. Vex, it's almost cute that you still spectate my games. Vex, tell your dad I said the prize money's spoken for. Vex, also tell him hi. We had a great time at brunch. Vex, he tipped 30%. Classy man, don't know where you went wrong. The typing bubble appeared, disappeared, appeared, disappeared. I imagined Brett in his ergonomic chair, in his ergonomic apartment, with his ergonomic jaw doing the little ergonomic clench I'd watched on his stream the last time he'd lost to me with 700 people watching. The bubble came back. He didn't send anything. I tossed the phone onto the couch, face down, like a card I'd already won the hand on. I settled deeper into the gel. It was warmer now, body temperature, than a half degree past it, the way bathwater always wants to be. The cradle tilted back the last few degrees on its own, finding the angle a sleep clinic would charge me $800 to discover. Somewhere under the headrest, something in the pod began to purr, low and steady, a sound I felt more in my teeth than in my ears. The halo lit up. 12 points of contact bloomed warm against my scalp, then cool, then a sensation I didn't have a word for that wasn't temperature at all, the strange, bright feeling of something looking at you from the inside. The boot sequence painted itself across the inside of my eyelids before I'd even closed them. ARKFALL's logo, the dead world turning slow against a bruise-colored sky, the dust storms crawling across Erebus like the planet was breathing in its sleep. The sound design rolled in next. Low wind, the grit of sand against metal, the distant industrial groan of a colony that had given up and forgotten to fall down. A countdown spun up in the corner of my vision. 60 seconds to the largest lobby in the game's history. 59. 58. The halo's last sensor seated itself with a tiny, intimate click directly behind my left ear, and for 1/2 second I felt every nerve in my body register the introduction. Hi, hello, we see you now. The gel adjusted, a millimeter here, a millimeter there, and somewhere in the small of my back a knot I'd forgotten about quietly let go. My pulse, traitor that it was, slowed. A soft female voice that wasn't quite a voice, more like a thought I hadn't had yet confirmed in my head. Biosync calibration. Nominal. Welcome, player. Yeah, I said out loud to nobody. Skip the cutscene. 40 seconds. I closed my eyes and grinned, and the grin felt good in a way I noted and then ignored, the way I'd ignored the fine print, the way I'd ignored the delivery guy, the way I'd ignored every soft little warning the universe had ever bothered to whisper at me. 1,000 players. No team. And me. Vex. 3 letters. Top of the board. Untouchable. May the best lone wolf win. The pod hissed shut. I should have read the fine print,